Welcome back again to today's video. So in today's video I'm going to be showing us how to make a pattern for a spaghetti strap. So if today is your first time of seeing my face, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and do not forget to hit on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell. I upload videos twice every week and I'll be bringing a lot of tutorials your way. And for my returning subscriber, thank you guys so much for always clicking on my videos and for staying tuned with me. So I've seen that my channel has grown a lot in the past 1 week. We just hit 100 subscribers and we're on our way to 200 subscribers. I'm really grateful and I don't take this for granted, guys. Thank you guys out there for finding my tutorials interesting, and I'm going to be bringing more tutorials your way. You can leave me any questions in the comment section and I'll always be in the comment section to attend to your questions. And for today's video, you will need to have the basic bodies ready. So if you don't know how to draft the basic bodies, you can scroll down my videos. I already have a video where I taught how to create a basic bodies, because we are going to be using a basic bodies for this pattern. So make sure to go watch that video, how to create a perfect basic bodies. Then you come back to watch this one where you are going to be learning how to make a spaghetti strap. So let's get on to the tutorial, guys. I use my tracing wheel to trace out my basic bodies here on this pattern. So we are going to be altering this pattern to become a spaghetti strap, okay? So but I'm going to also be extending this pattern into a dress. It's going to be like more like a summer flare dress, okay, like an umbrella dress sort of. I'm going to be extending it. So but let's just concentrate on making the spaghetti strap, okay? So the first thing you want to do, you want to find out your strap to strap measurement, okay? So this bodice has a shoulder wideness of 8 inches, okay? So and it has a neck wideness of 3 inches. So now I'm going to be extending my neck wideness to be 4 inches, okay? My neck wideness to be 4 inches. So I'll just connect that as like so. Okay, so the next thing you will do, you are going to take your tape measure and you measure the shoulder measurement that you have now. Now I have 4 inches as my shoulder measurement, okay? Then I'm going to take half of that 4 inches. Half of the 4 inches is 2 inches. So I'll come around my armhole and you are going to measure how deep you want your spaghetti strap to be, okay? That is where you want your strap to start from. That's your strap measurement. So I'm going to come to my shoulder measurement. I'm going to be using 5.5 inches, okay? You can use anything you like. If you want your spaghetti strap to be really high, like, or rather for your neckline to be really low, you are going to choose it. So I'm using 5.5 inches all the way from my shoulder there. I'm marking that all over there. So, and I'm going to take my tape measure. I'm going to rule from that half of my shoulder. I'll rule it down to stop at that 5 inches, okay? So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to come over here and I'm going to find my neck depth, how deep I want my neckline to be. So you can choose any kind of neckline that you want around here. It can be a straight neck, which is like a square neck, a deep V, or a deep curve neckline, okay? So I'm going to be choosing 7.5 inches for my neckline, because I want my neckline to be really low. Like I said, it's going to be like a summer dress. So I'll take my curve ruler and I'll connect. I use 7.5 inches for my neck depth and I use 5.5 inches for my spaghetti straps, okay? So I'm going to take my ruler because I want my neckline to have like a round curved neckline. So I'm going to connect it like so, okay? From that part, from half of my shoulder measurement, I'm going to connect it like so. Then I'll also take the same curve ruler. I'm curving it back to meet my armhole, okay? So good. So that is exactly what I have right now for my spaghetti strap. And the next thing you are going to do, you need to prevent gaping. Okay, so I'm actually going to be doing this method to prevent my neckline from gaping. This is very important. So what I'll do is I'll take my tape measure. I'll measure around my neckline. This is my neckline. I have 6 inches around my neckline. So I'm going to mark half of that 6 inches. Then I'm going to take 1 inch on both sides, okay? I'm going to be making like a 2 diagonal line to to create this to prevent my neckline from gaping. So here is actually my bust point and here is my bust line. So from my bust point, I'm going to connect to meet those two diagonal lines like so. So this is a very important process, guys. This is a very important measurement process for you to do for your spaghetti strap. I have this handout like I always talk about in all my videos. If you want one of those handouts, you can send me a message on 08057704020. So my handout explains to me that whenever you have like a really wide or deep neckline, you should always do this to prevent your neckline from gaping. It's a very, very important step to prevent your neck from gaping. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to cut. If I was going to just make a spaghetti top, this will be all that I will need. I'll cut and I'll slash and I'll close at my dart. So but I'm going to be extending this into a dress, okay? So I'll just show us what I'm going to do, because like I said, it's going to be like a summer flared dress. So I'm just going to be extending this pattern now into a dress. So let's watch closely what I'm going to do. So first, I want to find the length of my dress. The length of this dress that we're working with today is 40 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch for hemming allowance, okay? So I'm just going to rule a straight line across that. Okay, now, so the hip that we're working with today is 46, okay? Because now that I'm going to be extending it into a midi dress, I'm going to be needing the hip measurement. So I'm going to look for the quarter of 46, which is 11.5. So I'm going to add my wideness to that 11.5, how wide I want my dress to be, because like I said, it's going to be like an umbrella wide flare full dress, okay? So 11.5, I'm going to add 8 inches to 11.5. So now I have 11 plus 8, 19. So I have 19.5 inches. So I'm going to make sure my pattern paper is as wide as 19.5, okay? So I'm just going to choose 20 around here. So I'm going to mark that at 20, okay? So this is what I'm going to be working with for the wideness of my dress. It's very important, guys, that you know this. So 20 inches. So then I'll rule a straight line. So I don't need to go away from this line. That is why I need to rule it out. This is how wide I want my dress to be. Like I said, it's going to be a flare dress, like an umbrella dress, okay? So now the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to take my pattern, I'm going to take my ruler, okay, and I'm going to be extending this dress all the way from my arm line, okay? I'm going to extend it all the way from my arm bust line. So just see. So I'm going to connect it from my bust line all the way to my hem, like so. So now I have a dress ready. So I'm just extending it from my bust line to my hem. So I'll cut this out so that we don't get confused. Then we can continue to alter this pattern. Good. So I'm going to give it a nice beautiful curve at the hem. Remember, this is center front, center, cut on fold, okay? So I'm going to come up by 3 inches here. I'm just going to give my pattern a nice beautiful hem, okay? I don't want it to be this straight. I want to curve it so that I can have like a rounded shape. Like I said, I'm trying to create something wide, like an umbrella dress, like a flare dress, okay? So I'm going to give it this shape around the hem. So I'll cut that out. Perfect. So now that I have this done, so the next thing that I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to extend my dart to the hem. Okay, I'm going to take my dart and I'm going to extend my dart to my hem line now. So I'll take my dart from the midpoint and I'm just going to be extending it down to the hem. Good. So now after extending my dart to the hem, I can now slash and cut away on that line. So the next thing that you do now, you are going to now cut out the alteration that you have done. You are going to now cut out the alteration for the spaghetti strap that we have done over there. So now I can now cut out my alteration. So this is the new neckline that we have. So let me label it new neckline. So this is the new armhole. So all the black marker pen is the new armhole, is the alteration that we did for these bodies. Okay, all the black marker pen. So I'm going to be cutting through this new neckline that I have here. Okay, so then I'll cut through the new armhole that I have there as well. Okay, so this is what I have for my spaghetti. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to now cut off this two neckline that I created there. Like I said, that is to prevent your neckline from gaping. Okay, so I'm going to slash through this my dart line all the way to my bust point and I'll stop there. So I'll come over here, I'll also slash through these both lines. Okay, I'll stop them at my bust point. Good. So this is what I have at the end of the day. So the next thing you want to do, we are going to close these two lines. Remember, the reason why we are doing this is to shorten the neck edge and to prevent your neckline from gaping. Okay, so I'm just going to close this off by 0.25 inches. Okay, so I'm going to close it up by 0.25 inches. So I'll pick this one and I'll close it up by 0.25 inches. So you can see my pattern at the bottom. By the time I pick this to close, you see it's opening up. Okay, so I'm going to be having more space here because I'm shortening my neck edge. So I'm just going to close this out as well by 0.25. Okay, so I've closed those two parts out with 0.25. So I'll just keep here down. So I've closed it and all of the excess, by closing my neckline, they've all transferred to make my dress wider. So because it's also going to be a wide dress, I'm just going to use that measurement. Okay, so I'll put in another paper to close this out. So now my dress is wider and this is exactly the aim. This is exactly what I wanted because I want like an umbrella wide flare dress. Okay, so I'm going to put in another paper to So I'm just going to trim. After closing out all of my patterns, I'll trim. So I need to keep this down properly. So this is what I have, guys, for my spaghetti strap pattern. So the last thing that we're going to be doing here is to create a neckline facing, because I'm going to be having a facing to this pattern. So I'm going to be creating a neckline facing. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, you want to create a facing. I want to find out how wide I want my facing to be. So my facing is going to be like an all-in-one facing. I'm going to be facing the neckline and the armhole at the same time. So I'll come down to my armhole. I'm going to be using 3 inches. I'll come down by 3 inches from my armhole. Okay, so now I'm going to come to my neckline. I'm going to be using 2.5 inch around my neckline. Okay, I'm going to be using 2.5 inch around my neckline. Okay, so now I'm just going to connect from my armhole like so. I'll connect it all the way to meet my neckline like so. Okay, so this is my neckline facing, connecting it down to meet my armhole like so. So then I'll take my tracing wheel and I'm going to trace it out. So I used 2.5 inches for my facing because I want it to be that small. Then I came down by 3 inches from my armhole. So I'm going to take another paper, then I'll trace out my facing. So I'll put in another paper underneath paper so I can trace out my neckline facing. So I'll take my tracing wheel and I'll trace. So I'll trace here. I'll trace out my neckline as well. I'll trace out my armhole. Okay, now my facing is traced out, so I'll keep that aside. Then I'll bring out my facing. So I'll take my ruler to see if I can use my ruler to connect this out. Okay, so this is my center front cotton fold. Okay, so then I'll connect this. So then I'm going to add my seam allowance all around it. Okay, I'm going to add a 0.5 inch seam allowance all around my facing. So, and my facing piece is ready. So I'm going to label here fold. Okay, here's going to be on fold. Then I can cut this out. So guys, my facing is ready and our pattern is ready, guys. So remember, I added 0.5 seam allowance. Okay, so this is how the pattern is, the facing is going to face all of the neckline and also face the armhole, guys. So see, this is what I have at the end of the day, and I hope you guys find this tutorial easy to follow. If you have any more questions, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out on my fabric. So please don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. I'll be bringing more interesting tutorials your way, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.